Hi, boys and girls. This is Mrs. Costa, and I'm here to talk to you about how authors write books with the intention that we will learn a lesson as we're reading. So again, we always want to be thinking, what does the author want to teach me? And yesterday we talked about book characters that we look up to and we admire. They show us how to handle challenges and how to treat people. But sometimes people in your life make mistakes, right? Maybe you know someone who was mean to another classmate because of the way they looked, or maybe you know someone who gets easily frustrated when they're faced with a tricky job. Sometimes we know these people are not making the best choices in their situation. So today we're going to talk about how book characters can also make mistakes. They can show us negative traits, and we can learn life lessons from those mistakes. Think back to Poppleton, right? Right here in the story Neighbors, he got really frustrated by Cherry Sue. She kept calling him over and over again to enjoy toasted cheese and spaghetti. All he wanted to do was watch TV and relax, and he got so angry about it that he soaked her with the hose. Not nice. Poppleton was being so rude. Poppleton's mistake was that he didn't calm himself down and think about how to handle a situation. Instead, he let his feelings build up, and he was feeling so strongly about not wanting to have that food with Cherry Sue that he acted out, and he really should have thought things through and used his words. So Poppleton taught us that when we're feeling strongly about something, that we shouldn't act rudely or mean, right? We should use our words to solve problems. So today I'm going to share another story with you, and your job as I'm reading is to think about these questions so that we can figure out the life lesson. So today we're going to keep track of which character made a mistake in the story. What can he or she teach us from that mistake? And we'll be able to answer this or fill in this sentence. In life, people should not. So I'm going to share with you the story, Beatrice Doesn't Want To. So again, keep track of which character is making a mistake and what we can learn from them. Oh goodness, look at Beatrice right there with her arms crossed. She doesn't look happy. Beatrice doesn't want to. Beatrice didn't like books. She didn't even like to read. More than that, she hated going to the library. Ooh, that explains why she looks so grumpy. But that's where her brother Henry had to take her 3 afternoons in a row. Henry had to look after Beatrice. He also had to write a report on dinosaurs. Look at, he's kind of dragging her there. There's the library. Why don't you get some books from the shelf? Henry suggested when they got to the library. I don't want to, Beatrice said. Look at how many books there are, Henry said. I don't want to, Beatrice repeated. Then what do you want to do? Henry asked her. I want to watch you, said Beatrice. But I have to work, said Henry. I'll watch, said Beatrice. I give up, said Henry. He worked on his report. Beatrice watched. Henry tried not to notice her. Look at her right here, laying across the table. She's right up in his face. He's trying to get that work done. The second day, Beatrice didn't want to go back to the library. You have to, said Henry. I don't want to, Beatrice told him. But I have to work, Henry said. Remember what you're supposed to be thinking about right now, boys and girls. Which character is making a mistake? And start to think about what can he or she teach us about how we should not act act or how we should not treat others. When they got there, Beatrice saw a big comfy chair. "I'll just sit here," she decided. "Okay," said Henry, "but don't move until I'm finished." Henry began to work on his report. All of a sudden, he felt someone tapping his shoulder. He turned around, and there was Beatrice. "I'm bored," she said. "I give up," said Henry. On the third day, Beatrice followed Henry around while he looked for more books. Ooh, study the pictures. "Can I hold some?" Beatrice asked. Henry gave her some books to hold. "They're too heavy," Beatrice wailed. "I really do give up," said Henry. "You're driving me crazy." "Please be," Henry begged her. "I've got to get this report done. It's due tomorrow." "How about a drink of water first?" Beatrice said. Oh my. They went down the hall to look for some water. Suddenly, Henry saw a poster. "This is it," he thought. Here's the poster. "The librarian will read Albert Mouse has a brand new house today at 4:00 p.m. in the children's room." Henry has an idea. "Come on," said Henry. "I don't want to," answered Beatrice. "Too bad," shouted Henry. Ooh, he's really had it. Before Beatrice knew it, she was in a room full of other children. Henry walked out just as she started to say, "I don't want..." Oh, Henry's gone. Beatrice sat down to wait for Henry. "Hello, my name is Wanda," said the girl in the next chair. "This is the second time I've heard this story." "Big deal," said Beatrice. "Albert Mouse lived in a brand new house," the librarian began to read. She held the book up so everyone could see the pictures. Beatrice glared out the window. Remember, you should still be thinking, which character is making mistakes and what can I learn from them? Albert Mouse also had new roller skates, the librarian continued. Beatrice loved to roller skate. She looked at the librarian. But Albert's mother wasn't too thrilled when he skated through the house, the librarian read. The boys and girls laughed. Beatrice smiled. She remembered the time she had tried roller skating in her own house. Then Beatrice laughed. She listened to the whole story. When the story was over, Beatrice went up to the librarian. "May I see that book, please?" she asked. "Of course," said the librarian. Beatrice sat down and looked at each picture over and over. Suddenly, she felt someone tapping her shoulder. "Time to go," Henry whispered. Beatrice kept looking at the pictures. Henry stuck Beatrice's hat on her head. "We have to go home now," he said. Beatrice ignored him. "Come on, Bee," Henry said. She's really lost in that book. "I don't want to," Beatrice said. Okay, boys and girls, so now let's think about the lesson for this book. Which character made the mistake? So which character was showing negative traits, things that we shouldn't do in life? You're right, it was Beatrice. Think about the traits she was showing. She was being really inconsiderate, Her brother had work to do, and instead of kind of going with the flow and listening to him, she was bothering him over and over again and making it hard for him to get his work done. So what can Beatrice teach us about how we should not act in life or how we should not handle things? In life, people should not Well, Beatrice was also showing that negative trait of being stubborn, right? She assumed she didn't like books and didn't like the library, and she hadn't really given it a chance. So maybe the author's message is, in life, people should not be afraid to try new things. Instead, you should try something before you decide if you like it or you don't like it. I bet your parents have said that to you before about maybe trying a new food. You can't say you don't like something if you haven't tried it. So that's one of the messages. You might have thought of something different. Maybe Beatrice taught you something else about how you should not act. So in life, don't be afraid to try new things. So boys and girls, as you go off to read today and every day, as you're reading and when you're done with the book, you want to be thinking, what does the author want to teach me? Remember, you know 2 ways you can figure out that message now. You can think about the good character and what they taught you about how you should act in life, or think about the character that's making a mistake and what that character can teach you about how to not act in life. Okay, so off you go. When you finish your book today, stop and think, what did the author want to teach me?